Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people from watching across the world who are watching League of Legends on a Saturday night, I am Ravishing Ravis, the most ravishing man on the internet, joined by X-Men 87, and we are in for best 3 series for SMU versus Wait for Late, as you already jump into draft here at X-Men. How you doing?
Doing just fine. What's up, guys? Axman87. I think both these teams are determined to ban all of the worst junglers in the game. So far, we have Rammus, Warwick, and Echo, and I can't think of worse junglers. So maybe you can. What do you think?
You make a very bold statement here at X-Men. I gotta say, I would tend to be on the fence about all that. I think Echo is a fantastic jungler, especially if you're looking for a sort of mid to late game type carry potential burst jungler, especially on the EP side. Rem is also honestly underrated, although boring to play. He gets really tanky and as he has a lot of good CC. Warwick can go either way for me, honestly.
For sure, but I don't think we see any of these champions banned too often. Maybe the exception being Nunu, but Aurelia kind of making a bit of a comeback. But the things that get banned against SMU never cease to amaze me. You have a Malzahar, Vigar in the mid lane, and he mains those champions. Ewok in the top side plays like Gragas and Skarner, stuff like that. So those champions will get banned away from him. But Samira does make it through draft here. His first pick for Wait for Late.
As ours was waiting on the second pick. Now, I've seen Samira a lot as of late. She is more than likely going into the ADC role, right? You'll come in for Wait for Late. And honestly, Samira is a fantastic champion if she's allowed to have space and can definitely go ahead and get some hard CC. Soraka not be the ideal pick, but especially something like at the Nautilus, Thresh, the Leona, just to go ahead and proc her passive a bit more though. But the other end, to go ahead and actually counter the Samira, if you need to go ahead and actually create space and make sure she actually can't get onto you, which is why picks like the Jhin, the Lux, and Morgana, anything that allows spacing are great into it. As you see on the SMU side, Annie and Ola are picked up.
For sure there. Annie, probably the backup mid laner when Malzahar is taken away. Sometimes we see Vigar, but it got really abused last season, so I think we're seeing Merlin make a little bit of a pivot towards other champions, and Annie would definitely be where they start. And we're into the second ban phase now. Still no top laner for SMU, which makes me think we're about to see some pretty crazy bans, but we'll have to see. Actually, no, just Caitlyn taken away. Interesting.
Yeah, it's honestly not a bad choice. We know SMU are quite comfortable on the Caitlyn, especially their bot side die and at 13, but really well rounded considering the overall synergy with it. But the pick I find has fallen off more so in priority, considering the nerfs that have come in onto the Caitlyn, especially onto 2AD, have actually left her in a worse state than before when she got the buffs.
For sure, yeah. I don't think Caitlyn is like just B1 worthy anymore. I mean, maybe if you put in a lot of hours on Caitlyn during her being OP and you feel like you're a really good Caitlyn, then yeah, that would make sense. But it's just not as strong anymore. So especially not into Samira. I guess, the range helps you. You mentioned you have to create space and get good positioning down, and Caitlyn just has a lot of range, but I don't know. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to me. I think it probably goes pretty well with Lulu, so it's fine to ban it here. But Mordekaiser banned away for Wait for Late, and that Gragas ban came through too. So that will not be an option for Ewok and SMU's top lane. But, Kalista can be locked up here. I wonder where that's going. It's a couple places.
The question is not necessarily where the Kalista is going, X-Men. The question is, where's the Samira going? Like, we know Samira can be flexed in a bunch of different lanes, and considering the range meta for top and mid side for mid side laners is definitely very prevalent. Considering with picks like like the Lucian, like Tristana, we see more and more. But the Vayne locked him likely going to go ahead onto the bot side for SMU. If it is up against a Samir, that's not where you want to be as a Vayne.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a great place to be. I don't think Kalista would be much better, to be honest. I feel like Kalista does pretty well on Vayne, but I don't play a lot of bot lanes. So Malphite can be picked up here. This is a fantastic pick. I mean, look what he's up against. Kha'Zix, Kalista, and Samira. Wait for later. They're going to have to pick like an AP carry in this last pick if they want to deal with this Malphite. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to kill Ewok in this game. At least I wouldn't think so anyway. But I also just don't think you should have a full AD team. Well, I guess so. Samira does magic damage, right? And Callista. Okay, I guess Callista is Vicar.
Yeah, that's also due to just pro draft, right? They just have a little bit of a interesting way to go and bring that up. And with wait for this Calista Vigard thing, I have seen the Vigard before. I know they like to go ahead and actually play a bot side for the EDC. Now all that really depends is where they actually put in these lane assignments, to find out in just a second as you run through the bands. It's
I
like
don't know. I feel like Callista would be better. I feel like it makes more sense to me. But yeah, we're gonna find out here. And like you were saying before that came up, is there magic damage on this team? I mean, Samira does magic damage somewhere, right? I think. I'm not actually 100% on that, but this might just be like a full AD
Samira
team.
does not do magic damage.
Okay, all right.
But one thing she does do, which is a lot of fun that I liked a lot, is that within her passive, she actually, well, her taunt, she can flick a coin at you, which does a measly one true damage, right? And also as a stack of style as well onto her. So it's like, but the enemy laner does go ahead and get 1 gold.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. I like that. That's pretty fun, actually. But so with the Callista being Vigard, they are going to have magic damage. I'm just not. And Samira is going to be down the bot lane. Okay, so oh man, pro draft really throws me for a loop. I messes me up, man. But yeah, I don't think I'm in love with Wait for Late's comp here. They're definitely living up to their name. That's a lot of late game champions, but specifically Vigar. And I don't know. I mean, SME are 3-0 in their group right now. I feel like this is just going to be 4-0. This is, at least from this game anyway. It's something that I don't think we've really talked about with the Samira as much, is that it's super strong. You already brought up the positioning and everything, and it should be mentioned that we're at a pretty low elo here. I think we're at like low plat or something across the board. There's a lot of variation, but I'm not 100% sure that this elo can like really play Samira to the level where you're getting all of that value out of the mechanics that she has in her kit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an easy champion. There's a lot of bells and whistles here, and if you're missing half of them, you're not going to be as powerful as the highlight reels are showing everybody on Twitter. But that said, I mean, you could say the same thing about Vayne too, right? So I don't know. This bot lane could be very interesting or just very, very one-sided, and I don't know which one I'm more eager to see. But anyway, yeah.
That honestly, saw the close with their X-Men. I knew I actually love that point of yours. But yeah, Samira, a very technical champion. I am excited to see, how much Big White Shark, like how much practice he actually has on it. So I would be interested to see what more you can do here. Now, with that all being said, folks, we are going to go ahead and load onto the Rift. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Style Esports. Welcome back, everyone, to Style Esports. I'm Ravage Robin X-Men 87, and we're into game number one between SMU versus Wait for Late. Now, both of these teams are undefeated in the bracket, with SMU having 3 wins to their name and Wait for Late 1. But I believe, as my co-caster put it previously, one of these teams will be undefeated, and one of them will have one loss after today.
For sure, Rav. And if SMU win this one, they've won a majority of their games this season because I think they only have 6 or something like that. And this would put them at 4. So
Hmm.
basically, a winning season is on the line here for SMU, at least basically an early season. Winning season anyway, but I guess they would have to lose the next 2 games to not go completely undefeated at that point, and it seems unlikely. So they're well on the way to a completely undefeated season, which is kind of crazy because this team was up for relegation, I think, last season. They might even been relegated, but things got kind of tossed up a little bit between season 4 and season 5. But
Hmm.
um, we are into the game now. Bit of a quiet start. There's a lot of late game on the table right now, so the level 1 is not super busy, but there's no leash for Wokian. We see him do this a lot, especially on Olaf, a couple other champions, but ooh, they taken. Wasn't expecting the early aggression. Kind of gets punished for it though.
It's honestly imaginably so, considering Big White Shark onto the Samira. That sort of mid-ish range is where she completely excels. Like, that's where she's able to go ahead and put up the max amount of her combos, do absolutely fantastic on them, and just be able to just take over a lot of these fights, especially as he goes and scales up to towards level 3 or so. So considering they also have a Lulu along with the Vayne, Lulu as well, also very mid-range type support. So both of them, I'm if they do go ahead and get a bit overzealous, a bit too far forward, I expect Big White Shark to go and punish.
Definitely, I do as well, but I think you have to play aggressive, right? Anyway, here's Kha'Zix.
Jump off Bush also comes in, but gets the flash. The pinches in the slow onto the
Ooh.
Lulu. That's first blood for Big White Shark.
Yeah, well, on the way to that snowball that Samira needs, and really, I don't think there's anything stopping Samira from snowballing super hard. I guess Wokian spending more time on the bottom side of the map would probably help a little bit, but he's down here on the bot side, just didn't have time to really respond to the Kha'Zix gank. Ooh, Merlin. It's in trouble now. Here's jump off bush.
Merlin does go and get stunned. It takes a lot of damage. Has to flash out of jump off Bush with the snipe of little rockets coming out of him. So it does go ahead and get a second of the game. First of the game. First assist as well. Sorry.
For sure, yeah. Ooh, top lane trade comes out too, but
Yeah.
both sides make it out alive. And yeah, unfortunate they use their flash in the mid lane and then not escape anyway. They're going to teleport back in the lane though and not miss too much. Teleports down. That's something. Wokian's looking for some kind of gank, but he's kind of getting out ganked at the moment by a Kha'Zix, which is a little concerning, but he's definitely making up for it in CS. And he is going to be taking the reset on the bottom side of the map. Dragon not spawning for another minute. It's an ocean dragon, and that is going to be very impactful in these lanes. We're seeing, scattered fighting breaking out. A lot of it is down to the ganks coming out from Kha'Zix, though. I feel like without jungle intervention, there's a lot of just kind of scale up lanes on the map right now. So this ocean dragon's going to be pretty big for some of those lanes. Even we're just talking about super top, like resisting some of the poke coming out of Ewok right now. It's going to help him a lot in lane.
Pretty easily so, but Ewok, considering he's on the Malphite, if he tries to go for the poke game early using his Q and E to try to trade against Super Top, he will essentially be stuck in very much in a rock and rock place considering Malphite. But Malphite has very high mana cost, especially early on. And considering you're not going AP, he will be able to go on and sustain, especially if he's trading with his abilities. And once Super Top is able to go ahead and build up the Tiamat along the Bomby Cinder, he should win up that trade considering just how strong Shen is, especially right now in the meta.
For sure, and is not going to be a great situation for Ewok. Bot side, both junglers are here. It is jump off bush. Is a little bit close to the bot lane. They're going to meet a dragon, presumably. Oh, now it's Merlin in trouble. Yikes. That's a lot of damage.
Nah, Merlin's fine. Because if you look at it like Ethan too, considering he is on the Vagar, he needs definitely to go and scale up as actually jump off pushes the flash out against
Oh
Woking. A lot of
no.
damage, axe down, so is a smite, but there's the execute from jump on bush.
It's just so
Off
much burst damage there. It's not really anything Woking could have done. The flash, again, unfortunate. Oh, super top. He's going in. Yikes. Things getting really close topside. Oh.
Super Talk goes for the flash for flash in the trade. One more auto would have done it. But that's the thing too, is like because he's so strong right now, so strong right now, even after he goes, he gets Sunfire. One shot has the TM might even trade
Oh.
evenly, but there's the unstoppable force.
Yeah,
I,
and he was looking for that level up there. It doesn't really help Super Top as much in the 1v1 to hit level 6 as it does
mhm.
help the Malphite. So as soon as he got it, just all in, and he picks up the solo kill here. Super Top immediately leaves, but I guess he's lagging. It's
He
kind of hard to tell. I guess he started walking back to base, so maybe he DC'd.
he is indeed lagging from what we are being told right now. So we will go ahead and get that issue fixed up real quick. But let's go ahead and go back down to the bot side here, Axe, right? We're looking at the Samira on Big White Shark. Although she is lacking in CS, or doesn't have the same sort of farming ability that a Vayne does, with as a classic EDC, building up those stacks, being able to farm pretty easily. But it still is ahead in a kill, as we see Super Top has went and reconnected.
Yeah, I'm wondering if what we're seeing in the bottom lane is a little bit more of the Lulu versus Soraka than it is Samira versus Vayne. And uh, Lulu's really been unmatched in, as far as just the enchanters go in that realm. And I don't necessarily think Soraka is really cutting the mustard here. We see taken just with a huge CS lead, especially for this far in the game. We're not at 7 minutes yet. They got, I think, a
Mhm.
two-wave lead on the Samira, which is pretty crazy because normally we're talking about a Vayne matchup. Vayne is not supposed to be winning in the early game, right? They're supposed to be hyper scaling and winning duels in the mid to late game, but that's not really what we're seeing here. It's just kind of taken farming completely uncontested, which is not a great way to play against Vayne.
No, yeah, because like Vade also really wants to do and needs to do is just scale up. As Maryland goes ahead, pushing the Andy up in the mid lane. Not even necessarily to go to get aggressive on Ethan, but just to go in and farm and close him out so you can actually get a good push and back up. I mean, not a bad play, I'd say.
I would agree with you there, but elsewhere on the map, Wokian not doing too much with this jungle pick. He's 0-1-0. He's got the CS lead, but he hasn't been able to convert that into anything. And
Hmm.
uh, there's only really so much Olaf gets out of just hard CSing when you're trying to, I guess, get ahead here, because the CS doesn't really help you. You're not looking to pick up big item spikes or anything like that. Like the biggest one you're hoping for is like we're talking Warrior Enchant and Black Cleaver. Like it's not a huge item spike or anything like that. You're just trying to continue the snowball that you should inherently be building. He's just not building it.
The big white shirt goes and gets aggressive, but being outtraded a little bit by
Oh, you're
Dated.
Shen.
Heal pop, Shen into exhaust up onto the vein, and there's big white shirt with the kill.
That'll do it there, Rav. That is all it takes. Super top from the top side. And now it's Ewok looking for the uncontested bush here. I don't know how much he's going to get out of this, but Super Top's going to be coming back to a lane which he is pretty far behind in CS, at least one wave anyway. They might pick up the Rift Herald off this as well, which would be pretty solid for him. But yeah, taking goes down here. I think he had the most gold on their team. Actually, it's Wokian that does by a couple hundred, but yeah, it's not good to be losing your vein like this in the early game. That said, you don't really expect to be winning fights, so I don't think this is the worst thing. And they do pick up the Rift Herald, actually.
That they do right there as well. So now with that, consider super top is focused more so on the other lane. He can easily go ahead and put this on top side. Since we see Ewok does have the push, possibly even go for a dive on a super top as well. Uh, considering he doesn't have flash or TP, so going in onto him now would be very optimal and getting a couple plates down as well. But putting Ewok ahead because we know how impactful he can be once Ewok does have to push and he is allowed to roam.
For sure, the roams can be ooh flash stun.
Flash stun, but match on the other side, and
Yikes.
Ethan, the guy, just deletes Merlin. But Fly coming in on the backside as well. Olaf going in, W down. There's the shutdown. Another
Ooh.
Woki, and then ooh, that was nice, X-Man.
That's a good axe. That was a pretty good axe as axes go, but oh
Yeah.
man, that was well played. But just to sum it up, I think the flash stun might have been a little aggressive there from Merlin, but I don't think he had vision on the Kha'Zix at the time. So we'll go ahead and forgive him for that one. But yeah, it has been so close in the burst damage department. You're talking about Olaf Annie versus Vigar and Kha'Zix. That's a lot of burst damage. These fights are over very, very quickly.
Like it's just that's exactly so. Because even though Merlin wants to go ahead and Merlin wants to go ahead and like try to go for the push, he does. He knows he wins out of the trade, but TP
Ooh.
coming in as well from the Malphite, immediate
Oh!
knock up and the shutdown coming in from Ewok. But Dana throw in a little bit of trouble. One more stack should be able to do it, and there it is. Danny King gets a second.
For sure. So 1 kill for Malphite, 1 kill for Vayne. But what a crazy unstoppable force that was. I feel like, they're kind of making a beeline for the turret here. I feel like maybe you take like the extra right click or so to separate so you can't hit both of you with the unstoppable force. But
Mhm.
I don't think I would have expected that personally. That was a pretty good ult from Ewok, but he's gonna be walking up in the top lane, just walking right through mid. Not a care in the world, but he's starting to stack up that armor that we were talking about in draft, right? About um, wait for late being a physical heavy comp, and he's starting to get that. He's starting with the Sunfire cape here. Super top, not a great trade. All things considered, Ewok has to back off those. He's trying to pick up this wave that's crashing into his turret, and misses the jump. Yikes.
Yeah, jump up, watch Polymorph and smited down by Datakin. But here's Big Boy Shark on the backside, the firing away. Does let a couple autos onto her, but the Woken able to just walk in and just apply so much pressure. Super Top's not gonna be able to do much, but the axe, yet again, axe by doing so much. Datakin just corners E to the guy at the side. Dark Horizon not available. Q's in, and who's gonna go ahead and get it? It's gonna likely come on. You got it. There it is.
I think they got it with they got it with the scimitar there. That's pretty funny. Or the
Hmm.
cutlass, not the scimitar. Sorry. But I don't think we see that too often. But second dragon of the game going to go down to SMU. We're starting to see Wokian really convert on that CS lead he's been building. He's up to almost 30 over the Kha'Zix. And oh boy, does he do a lot of damage. He's throwing axes just so well in these fights, Rap. A lot of what good axe throwing is about the depth more than actually like hitting them on the XY axis. Is that if you
Hmm.
throw the axe too far away from you, you can't pick it up. You can't get the cooldown reset. But if you throw it too short, obviously it's not going to hit them. So finding that perfect balance is what the perfect axe is all about. And Woking is doing it like very well. In fact, I don't actually know how he got that last axe because Super Top was dashing away from him. So I feel like if I had thrown that, I would have underthrown it. But no, he threw it max range and it just nailed the Shen there. Very, very well played. But we'll have to just continue watching Woking, I think, because he's just popping off.
I would expect nothing less short from Axeman with the absolutely deep and very well informed Axe commentary there. I absolutely love that. Thank you. But the question is, Axeman, what would you rate Wookiee's axes so far out of 10?
I would give him a solid 9 axes out of 10 axes.
No.
Yeah. Oh man.
Let's see. I mean, so far the axes do come raining down. Super tough slow
Yeah.
back and forth with the consistent resets onto him. The auto shield won't even do much as Wookiee and just solo kill super tough.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage there, but oh man, and like we were talking about, it's not necessarily about item spikes because Woking doesn't really have any. He's got like Warrior Enchant. He's about to finish Black Cleaver. It's really just about getting the damage down, and also about levels too. I think getting more true damage on the E is pretty important. But yeah, elsewhere down the bot side, it's not like it's just Woking hard carrying SMU right now and that they're going to fall off in 10 minutes or something like that. Check out what's happening down in bot lane with this Vayne and 313. Take a look at the solo gold. Yeah, they're the second most gold on their team. So this team isn't falling off anytime soon. And overall, I mean, they're like 4K gold in the lead, so they're looking real good right now. That's first turret.
Yeah, first there are two gold split between Wokian and Ewok as well. Now they're able to make that play as well, considering I believe the Rift Tail went on top side as well. So they're able to go ahead and just push that down, get all the turret gold with Ethan the guy jump off bush, batten down to the bot side. Dragon is up another 2 minutes, but considering the lane state for Datakin and also along with 13 Green Ninjas, I would expect jump off bush to try to at least make some sort of play here, get big white shard ahead because the Fed Samira is a good Samira.
Definitely, that's my favorite kind of Samir anyway. When it's on my team, it frequently is not though. So
Hmm.
it's not a good time out here in solo queue. But it is if you're banning Samira, then it's much better. But that is Rift Herald, the second one, going down to Wokian, basically for free again. As Jump Off Bush has not had the best time with objective control. They got that first dragon. That was about it. So it's not been a very good time, but 3 members of SMU now have shut down gold. Here's Ewok in the bot lane. This should be a double kill. I don't know how they're going to escape this. He might hit 2 of them again. Oh, he
As
got him!
just group up and let him get it. Ewoks is firing away, goes really big, but Big White Shark also being saved by Super Top. The Ewok has to go on to flash out and live, but the Q at the final second securing the kill. And here comes absolutely everybody. Taking flying up with the Super Top, taking a lot of damage as well. And Maryland, who has the stun and the Tibbers if they do go ahead and step close. But the Director will be summoned to go and take down top turret. And I think at this point,
Oh,
ooh, nice. Nicely well timed there from Merlin to get some revenge onto Ethan the guy. And SMU are playing the game at their own pace.
it's 5 from SMU in the bot lane, with Merlin backing off at least 4, but it was a strange gank to start off with. I wonder if the Sega and Green Ninjas actually like missed the comm or something, because it seemed like they back off or something, given the directed camera angle anyway. And it was mostly just Ewok killing or fighting 3 enemy champions under their turret for a little bit there. I was kind of like, oh, where's the cavalry? But the cavalry came eventually. They brought Rift Herald with them, and they get bot outer turret here and a kill onto Ethan the guy. And that's just about all you need. Super top.
Super Top goes taunts in onto 4.
Oh,
Why?
that, yeah. I mean, that's hyper aggressive. I guess he was lagging earlier. Maybe that's what was happening, but maybe he thought his team was behind him and that they were ahead somehow. But whatever it was, he was definitely not correct in his assumptions. And now it's going to be second dragon going down for SMU. And they are looking to start stacking these infernal dragons. It's a little strange, given everything we've seen from Wokian and how they're playing the game right now, that they gave up that first dragon. I don't think it's necessarily like the worst thing or going to sink them, but it's just kind of weird that they could be at soul point right now and they just didn't go for it.
I mean, at the point you saw before, like Wokian was just didn't have that much presence on the map. A lot of that was went ahead and taken up a jump off bush, getting early ganks up on the bot side, like suppressing Merlin in as well, making sure he couldn't play the
Ooh,
game either.
yeah.
As that's yeah,
Speaking of which,
that Vagar.
that definitely is Vagar. You can't stand there when he's got the cage, man. I get it's probably really hard playing Annie, because Annie doesn't have a ton of range. I don't play a lot of Annie, but not a long range champion, so you got to be careful with your spacing. But oh man, that cage will 100% kill you at this rate. And Vagar probably one of the only saving graces really left for Wait for Late, as their namesake suggests. They're probably waiting to try and scale this one out. I don't know if that's ooh, here we go. Ewok teleport.
He was there from both sides. Ewok along with the Shen here as well, and everybody from Wait for Light pretty much backs off. They do not want this fight. They saw how it went last time.
For sure, yeah. Both sides back off for the time being, and a lot of that is down to just the burst damage. I would have to say from Ethan the guy. They didn't have vision on him. They do now.
Yeah.
And Unstoppable Force is up. Okay, they're not going to go for it. And yeah, a lot of this caution, I would say, is down to their jungler is a jungler with stealth abilities, just tons of damage that can jump on your backline a moment's notice. I can honestly appreciate the caution. stacked on top of that, you have Daylight that has Wish at the ready. So you're looking at having to burst somebody essentially twice if you want to kill them, and you need to make sure that you have enough damage there if you're going to go in and try to get a pick.
Now, with Woki doing so, considering he has so much pressure on the top side, I imagine that's exactly what he would be doing. Just trying to make sure he can get some sort of pick off with Wait for Late, trying to roam around and get some pressure across the map, or along with at least some vision too, so not running in blind. As Ewok just plays out all the minions in the mid lane, but there are 4 people here. Are I'm assuming they're gonna try to just go ahead and siege considering they're on minion wave.
Yeah, I think maybe they were trying to go for like a dive onto Vanguard, but that is a difficult champion to dive, and he wasn't really stepping up. So they're going to back off for the time being and not go for that. Jump off bush. He's finding his camps, and all of them are missing.
I mean,
Okay.
he's got Wookiee in there. Like it made sense. As nice little resets coming up from the axes and the dodges a bunch of the damage too. So good job by Wookiee and nice little fancy feat too. It's nice. So at this point, considering we are went ahead and went past over laning phase 2, now with Shadow and Mustangs United, the main thing they're looking to try to do is open the map for themselves and at least allow some sort of side lane push going on, especially for the likes of Ewok or even Datakin, because both of these can easily go ahead and go on the side lane, push to the waves, and even allow Merlin some time to be able to scale up.
Definitely. Baron has spawned as we passed 20 minutes. Neither side really looking for this, like we've been saying. Yikes. Can they
Uh,
can they kill Lulu? I guess
No,
not.
no, it's he went ahead, actually missed the W on the Lulu as Ewok is there. He Bruce has to go ahead and walk out. Actually, ults to get away too. He was trying to go ahead and stop with the Baron bait, but successful Baron bait coming in for Wait for Late as Wakian
Yeah.
is on the bot side, simply just free pushing up into the base.
He is certainly free pushing, but oh no, here it is.
Wish popped immediately to go save his teammates. A big white shark has to get out alive, but jump off Bush might not be so lucky. As you see topside, the Wokian is fighting up against the Shen. As there is jump off Bush's death, but oh, Vagar barely. Actually, just
Close.
one more auto would have done it, was assassinate Datakin
Wow.
as the gates have opened for the side. Wait for late here. It's Max Man. But
Oh,
but
jeez.
yeah, but Woking will not be so lucky. His shutdown goes on a big white shark.
It certainly will. They pick up the inhib turret on the bot side, and they kind of end up diffusing the fight a little bit as two members of Wait for Late and have to go back to protect their base. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's still pretty worth for SMU. They get the turret down off the inhib. They get a ton of bot priority right before Dragon. In fact, you see Super Top desperately trying to push it. He still doesn't have it out all the way to meet the enemy wave, but they should be able to rush this down. I don't think Wokian's going to make it in time. Yeah, he's not even alive right now. So this is just going to be their second drag here. And that Dragon Soul is starting to look pretty distant for either side. Another 10 minutes before you can get that. But yeah, I don't really think that's a win condition anymore. But like we've been saying all game long, both sides have competent late game options if they want to go ahead and take those. And SMU's Vayne has really been hitting the books, right? Studying up, waiting for the late game. And we are getting into that range now as we pass 22 minutes. And soon they'll start to get pretty strong. Vigar in a similar situation. We can take a look at individual gold. I don't think Fire's going to be very close. Yeah, they're about, oh man, math is hard. Like 14, 1,500 gold away from Vayne. So not very close at all, but still very much scaling.
Wokian that takes a bunch of damage to the face, has to go ahead and walk out. But considering he does the Black Cleaver and the Death Stance, he should be perfectly fine. Because that's a lot of MR and armor right to his face. So
For sure,
no
yeah.
point about to do. But with this now, considering the game, considering the way that the game state is in, X-Men, if you were on wait for let us go ahead and hold actually. Because it looks like jump off bush
Oh
is just gonna
no.
die. Ooh.
And I got
He
the
lives up.
Soraka there.
Yeah. He lives up to his name. He jumped off a bush.
He certainly did, but
Mhm.
I think it's funny the one time he tried to jump over a wall, he failed, or I think he got polymarked or something, but so he didn't jump out of a bush, so he couldn't do it. I think that's funny. But anyway, um, SMU, they're taking Baron. I think they might have it. They are found out. It's going to be a smite fight, and it's not even close.
Yeah,
Yikes.
jump off bush, jumps it a bit too. Let's go and flash out immediately. With this one,
Oh
Merlin, huge
my.
flank. Able to lock
Oh
up three, and he's
no.
unstoppable force, lock up even more. Samir trying to dodge and weave and bob and shoot around the team fight, but it's not going to be enough, as that is almost an ace for the side of Shadow Mustangs United. And we see Ethan the guy. He's pushing down the bot side.
He is, and the Vigar split push is not great. He gets the turret here, but it's an outer turret, so contain your enthusiasm. But it's going to be the inner turret here for SMU. They might pick up an inhib turret too, but it's less than 10 seconds till everybody's back up. And here's the Vigar. He's actually going to blow Cage, so I feel like maybe they just all in him after that one, but there's not a whole lot of ultimates available for SMU right now. Wokian back in the cage. Oh,
Wokian really gets collapsed upon to get the in hit by the cost of Wokian's life. So an overall worthy trade. But with that though, jump up bush really get aggressive, immediately goes
whoa,
and takes a bunch of damage to the
what?
face. As Dynatech, you saw that crit, it was absolutely massive, and this is going very wary for the side of wait for late. They thought they had it, but not at all. That's
Uh,
the ace coming in for Shadow Muscle
is
United.
that is that game? I don't know. They're under 30-second death timers here. Over 30 for the Vigar. Green Ninjas does not have a lot of health, so it's going to be like a 2v4 if Wait for Late come back up. But I think they can get a Nexus turret out of this. And that is just fine at this stage of the game, right?
Yeah, it's this game's pretty much over at this point, considering Ewok is going ahead, taking on the turrets, and it's they're gonna go ahead and actually back off. I thought they would have honestly been easily been able to at least rush down the Nexus if they tried to do so, because Ewok's quite tanky, and they also have Merlin as well, putting an AP damage onto it. So it would have been close, but they would have been able to do it. But hey, you know what? They make the smarter and much more safe choice and back off.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? And something we said how many times now, but this isn't like this is just SMU snowballing super hard on early game champions. They're definitely scaling too. So it's not necessarily out of time or anything. But I think you're right. I mean, Ewok had unstoppable force. Daitaken had full health, full mana, all that good stuff. So I think they might have been able to do it, but it would have been pretty crazy. And I don't know. I think they could have, but why risk it? I guess I don't know. I'm always down to clown, so I think they could have made that play. But even the guy, that's just
Bye
oh
bye.
man, yeah.
That's
There
it.
has to be 2 plays for you to play by play. That was just the one play he got absolutely
Yeah.
deleted. That was crazy. And yeah, they're gonna be taking top inner turret here. Maybe bottom turret as Ewok is on the split push.
Uh, Honestly, pretty like with this right now, what they're doing is actually quite smart, going ahead and spreading out the pressure that they have in between both sides. Making the team choose which one do you want more. But considering Ewok has already went ahead and pushed the inhibitor,
Oh
the jump off
my.
Bush actually has to go to get Shen ulted. A lot of damage already in. Missed the top for super top though. But when Wish also used as well as Ewok can just pretty much walk out. He's so
Yep.
tanky.
Look at his team. They're taking the top one there. And that was a pretty savvy flash to just flash immediately as soon as the Stand United went off. But Big White Shark caught out.
Yeah, goes ahead,
Ooh,
east out, dodges all projectiles and dart. Also, Event Horizon used as well, but super top taunts in a
yikes.
bit too far with Ethan the guy dead as well, along with Big White Shark. And that Olaf is very, very fast.
Oh,
Ooh,
what?
nice axe going into the base. This game is over here. Ass Max Shadow Mustangs United will take game number 1.
I'll say that game was over for most of the game. Oh man. Geez, what was the final gold lead? I think 15,000 maybe. I think sure, we'll say that. That makes sense, but that's a lot even at 28 minutes. So
Mhm.
just pretty wild. I'm interested to see these damage numbers, and they are all okay. This is crazy. Every single member of SMU minus Green Ninjas is right at 16,000 damage, all
Mm.
of them, like almost dead even. It's a little wild. So, who carried this game? Nobody. This was a group effort. That was wild. We don't see too many games like that, and I think it really speaks to just how dominant SMU is. Is that there wasn't any position in which they really lost, or even like had a bad game, or went even. They dominated every single role. So, I think Wait for Late is definitely going to have to adapt some things if they want to make a comeback in the series, and it's got to be something pretty big too. I don't think the Samira pick really came out for them. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, building into why it didn't work too well. But I would start with the build. How do you feel about this build?
I mean, honestly, mate, at this point, I think what they really definitely need to do is continue to play they were playing in the beginning, is with jump off bush. Like the itemization overall, I think was interesting. But at the end of the day, if you don't have enough map pressure, especially based upon the neutral objectives that you want to go ahead and take, and you know your win con is going to be Big White Shark on the Samira, I felt as though if they went ahead and actually continued playing around that, with jump up bush, continue to put on pressure, this could have definitely gone many different ways though. But that all remains to be seen. This is the best of these series, so do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Are you on style? Welcome everyone to Style Esports. I'm Raptor Axman 87, and after a dominant game one victory, SMU are looking to go ahead and close the series at 2-0, but also wait for late on the other end, looking to try to make this best of three truly. So now we are to pick some bands. Your Axman 87, how you feeling?
Brad, they're already coming out with the B1 Caitlyn. They haven't locked it in yet, and I hope they don't. I don't think it's going to change anything for them, really. Um, okay, see, now Twitch would be a pretty good pick. I think Twitch is pretty good right now, but yeah, okay, they're going to lock it in. Nice, I like that. But SMU basically just run back the draft thus far. We'll see if they keep that up, but I think they probably adapt a little bit. I think the Vayne maybe wasn't the thing they were quite looking for, but the Vayne Lulu combination seemed to be working for them. So, oh, here we go. They're hovering again. Oh, Soraka.
Yeah, I mean, so after game number one, the band stayed pretty much the same, except the new band does not come through. Instead, it will be the Lulu band. So both alliterations on the other side. Meanwhile, SMU staying with essentially what worked besides since Lulu was banned, it is Soraka's the play here, as it with the Twitch Rakan, which if it is locked in, and I've seen this competition quite a fair amount of times. Twitch and Rakan are absolutely fantastic bot duo. If your Rakan has a heart of steel, one might say.
For sure, yeah, you gotta be willing to go in and continue going in if you're on Rakan. Xinjiao locked in for wait for late. Don't see him too often.
No, Xinjiao we've seen previously was one of the best early game duos in the jungle. Like, he's just so extremely strong. But that's the thing with Xinjiao, right? It's like the Olaf or picks like the Hecarim or even the Kindred. If he does not pop off, if he doesn't get early priority or any kills or revert any early kills, he will become pretty much an ult bot or a stun bot, pretty much later on into the game. So both Wait for Lane and both SMU, especially with the Olaf pick on the other side, are looking to make earlies quick, early, and fast.
There just isn't a lot of late game utility with the early game junglers, but I guess that's what balances them out. Jack's banned away by SMU. They pick up Olaf again for Wokian, and it makes sense to me. I mean, if they're not going to ban it, then you might as well just pick it again. Actually, they're banning out Annie. It's a little strange. So the Vayne Lulu combo is strong. I don't think Merlin was like running it down on Annie, but I don't think Lulu and Annie are the reason they won that game. So it's a little interesting that they're banning away those champions. That said, we made the comment that all of the carries in game one had almost the exact same amount of damage at 16,000. So I don't blame them for like having trouble deciding who to ban, right? Because they had literally everybody they could conceivably ban and have a pretty good argument for it. But I think that's going to be the Ornn ban there. They didn't lock it in time, but they were hovering it. Yes. Yeah, okay. So going to be the Ornn ban there, and it's just not something Ewok wants to play against this go around. And they ban Renekton. It's a little strange, but to be honest, I often make the comment that, like, why are we banning Gragas or Skarner or whatever into Ewok? Like, he's good with them, but the champions aren't game-changing or whatever. So I can appreciate the Renekton ban. However, it kind of means that now Ewok's going to pop off on something crazy. So I don't know necessarily this is the best thing for wait for late. You can get dumpstered by a meta champion, or you can get dumpstered by, I don't even know what he plays top anymore. But I think like Skarner. I think Skarner was one of them. But this Veigar picked up for SMU here. That's going to be for Merlin. We see Merlin on Veigar quite often, not so much this season anymore. And that's been a change that I've been largely in favor of. I don't think he did like fantastic on Veigar in season 4. I don't really like Veigar. And you might disagree with, I'm not sure. I don't really like Veigar on red side. I don't think it's great, but I maybe disagree.
I mean, but why is that though? Did you find that the Veigar just doesn't have a priority there on the red side, or just not able to get a good push in?
I don't. So for me, red side is for like counter picks and champions that are like pocket picks or whatever. And Veigar just doesn't seem. I mean, he has the cage, so if the enemy picks something like a blind all-in engage mid laner, then yeah, Vigar's a good counter pick. But otherwise, like what meta mid laner are people picking that's going all in and like diving? I don't know. Like people don't pick Talon anymore, or like I guess Silas might be something. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me, especially not R4, right? Because you're not countering anything. But now it is the counter pick Scion into the Malphite, and I don't know how Ewok's going to be playing this, but he's going to be playing it.
I mean, Silent Malphite is pretty much just two fists going at it, like one against another. Scion does do pretty well once he's able to get at least one health item against him against the Malphite, but both of these picks just like literally run into each other. It will depend on how Wait for Late is actually itemizing the Malphite, considering you could actually try to go for the AP build, or like try to go for the Grasp instead of the Comet. But it is most common. It is most common actually go ahead and take Comet, since just for your mana issues. Then.
For sure, this time around, it's Wait for Late with the Malphite into a heavily physical damage comp for SMU, and we'll see if that makes the difference for him. But I have my doubts. SMU pretty dominant in game one, excuse me. And to be honest, I mean, you're like they willingly picked a tank into Vayne. So unless we're playing this like AP Malphite, I don't know if I agree with this pick, right? Like you mentioned, Zion and Malphite just gonna be running at each other in the top lane. And because it's top lane, unless they're getting jungle intervention from these early game junglers, which doesn't seem to make sense in my view, you pick this top laner to get into the late game, and in the late game, Vayne is waiting to destroy you. So I don't really know why they picked
it definitely does depend overall, considering with the playstyle that you do decide to pick here, and even so with the Vayne, right? It really also depends on the itemization, but Vayne is known as a tank killer. She's so extremely strong, but if you are looking at Wavefor's composition, they are made to go and space out and be able to dive onto a pick, which Vayne, if she doesn't get dived upon and doesn't have her tumble, she is unfortunately very much statue, which is tough.
For sure, yeah, it's a great point. I think something that SMU are kind of starting to run into a little bit, and really Wait for Late were too, is kind of running headlong into that Enchanter with having a burst comp. And the issue is if you drop all your damage abilities, if you dump the load on them and they're still alive afterwards, you got problems. You got really big problems. You take a look at this game, Vayne's got Tumble. She got ult tumble, she got flash, all that good stuff, and a Soraka back here. There's a good chance you go all in on this Vayne between 20 and 30 minutes and you don't kill her. And at that stage, you're not doing very well, right? Now all of a sudden, SMU has tons of burst damage of their own, and you're all standing right next to them. So it's not a good place to be. Now, where I think Wait for Late might have the upper hand is kind of like a flanking scenario, right? You have the Twitch, LeBlanc, Malphite. These are champions that can kind of walk around the back of the fight. Instead of playing back to front to back, you play back to front and just dive in on that Soraka and look for that Vigar. And these are very, very capable kind of flank champions. And you mentioned diving; they do diving well too, but it's almost like it's better if they don't expect it, right? So it's better to come at it from a weird angle. And these are fantastic flank champions. I mean, I think to me, Twitch is like the quintessential flank champion. You're coming in with the ultimate. What does he say when he comes out of stealth? I think it's like, it's me or something like that. And he just blows everybody up. That's my favorite thing about Twitch. But we're in the actual champion select now. And I made the comment when they were hovering Caitlyn that I didn't want to see Caitlyn as much. When they switched to Twitch, I got kind of excited. I think Twitch is super OP right now. I think he's great.
Yeah, especially since they changed his W damage to be more hybrid, so you can go for much more interesting type builds. The composition, even go for the Rage Blade if need be. But that's honestly a lot of fun. And you are right, Axeman. He does go ahead and say, "It's me." After which he also comes out and says, "I was hiding," which was which is a lot of fun though. Which, with that being said, we will go ahead and load on to the Rift. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back, right here on Style. Welcome back, everyone, to Style Esports. I'm Roger Driver, joined by X-Men 87. We're the game number 2 for SMU versus Wait for It Late. Now, SMU did have an absolutely dominating showing up in the first game. Let's see if they get that going, or we'll wait for late. Go ahead and take this to a best of 3 series all the way. X-Men, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, and SMU are too. They're looking for I guess, a counter invade, maybe a late invade themselves. We'll have to see as the level one unfolds here. But a little interesting, the summoner spells here. Ethan, the guy, picks up Ignite, looking for that early kill pressure onto Merlin. I think this is probably a pretty good idea. I don't think teleport is going to help LeBlanc all that much. Uh, I mean, you just kind of walk back in the lane. I don't think LeBlanc has a very difficult time keeping up in CS. So this is probably fine that they take Ignite. We saw the teleports come out big for both teams, right? I can't remember how many times that all the solo laners and like the jungler and stuff, not the jungler teleporting, but suddenly arriving in bot lane because of the teleports. And I think it was like 2 or 3 times in the laning phase or something like that. So now that Ethan, the guy, doesn't have that, they might get left out of the fight occasionally, but LeBlanc's got some pretty killer roams, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem for him.
No, I don't imagine it will be here at X-Men as they go ahead and start the game. Though I do gotta say, it's right now with both junglers starting up onto the box, starting up onto the bot side. I would have expected Olaf, that being Boki, starting up on the red, just so he can actually start to get early on. Though, as we see Ewok get a little nice early trade up there on the top side.
He does get a pretty good trade there, and Wokian likes doing this thing where he just doesn't get a leash. And I don't necessarily agree with it. I feel like it leads to a little bit slower of a first couple levels for him, which is really where Olaf kind of shines, right? As those first 3 levels, he can 1v1. I would say 4/5 of the junglers out there without a trouble, and that last fifth is probably pretty close too. So I think you're looking for a fast early clear, and the bot lane doesn't really lose anything for leashing you, right? I mean, nothing
Mhm.
slows down for them. You don't have to miss CS or anything. You're literally just standing in the lane doing nothing. But as it stands, Olaf doesn't have any trouble clearing camps. It's probably fine. I don't know. It costs him a couple seconds. That's what we're seeing right now. Jump off the bush. He's in the top
Yeah.
lane.
Ewok goes an immediate flash matched by the Xin Sao as well. That's first blood coming in from Super Top.
Certainly is. And yeah, jump off the bush, goes for a fast 3 camps, and then directly into a gank. And we see Wokian going for like double full clears. So it's actually probably pretty close who got more gold out of this between the junglers. Yeah, Wokian got more gold out of this just by staying in the jungle and taking the camps. Now, Super Top is like 500 gold in the lead of Ewok, which is not a good thing. But, in terms of the junglers, Olaf is still very much ahead. And Shinjao can't... Ooh, okay. 3 ninjas. Yeah, take some damage there. Not going to go down or anything, but it's your healer. And, Wokian.
Jump off Bush. They both have double buffs still. Wokian fighting low. Now it isn't Olaf. He procs the Conqueror. Flash for flash match. And Wokian gets a solo kill in the jungle. Well done.
For sure. Merlin looking for Ethan, the guy. Probably just going to back off, I would imagine.
As
Oh,
Super comes in and the
no.
immediate collapse in onto Wokian. Just could not get out on the wrong side of the tracks. And
Yeah, it's a
with that,
clone.
yeah,
Yikes.
it is a clone.
Flashing on the clone. Not a good look, but hey, what can you do? They look exactly the same. And yeah, I think Wokian just kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, or maybe a rock and a LeBlanc place. And he's going to go down for his sins. But you're right. Solid solo kill, to be sure. And he might actually get jump off bush off of this scuttle crab in time. It's going to be close, though. Nope, he's going to smite it away. So that's one. Oh, might have spoke too soon, actually.
Yeah, jump off Bush gets collapsed on. That was a beautiful condemned by Datakin, and now Vayne gets her first of the game.
Yep, that's about as easy as they come, but Jump Off Bush does get their Scuttle Crab. Still 2 camps behind Wokian. Down the bot lane, no real CS lead building here, and both have started Doran's Blade. So, to be honest, I think it's a little strange. I feel like you have calls here, but how do you, I don't know. I think you're a top laner, right? I don't know how you feel about
I
like
am a
call
top
start.
laner.
Yeah,
I actually don't mind the call start, especially since you know you're gonna go ahead and farm for late in the lane.
yeah.
They're simply focusing on not getting aggressed upon. It's a good idea. right? It's go ahead and take the call like the ROI. As Dragon has went ahead and started up, but instead of SMU now
Ooh.
jump off Bush comes and steals it. He gets the kill too onto Woki as 13 Green Ninjas gets actually smited down by Daylight. A little bit of support of warfare, but we see on the back
Yikes.
that Datakin is fighting away for free. Goes in, gets the double. Ethan, the guy accepts his faith like that. And I mean, Drag
I
for 2 kills.
Yeah, I think Ethan might have been going for the pretending to be a clone maneuver, um, but it didn't work out for him there for sure. They kind of called his bluff a little bit, but
Mhm.
hey, it works sometimes, and when it does, it's pretty cool. But yeah, they lose Green Ninjas, they lose the Dragon too. So overall, not one of SMU's better plays. This game is looking a lot better for Wait for Late. Uh, Yikes, Woki and clearing camp or the not camps, CS in the top side. Flash for Taken getting away there. Oh, this could be real
As
bad.
this is a lot of damage immediately onto Daylight that you get super low. And Data King gets aggressive as well, but here comes
Ooh.
Jump Off Bush. Up in a little bit of trouble, but ooh, huge Q.
Yeah, nothing like the 3-man queue to heal you back up. That's pretty nuts. But
Hmm.
yeah, things looking pretty close, right? I mean, Big Light Shark, I'd imagine they do a ton of damage, but if you're not actually kiting, if you're just straight up running away from a Vayne who's like actively shooting you, you're gonna take a lot of damage and you're not dealing any back. So I think maybe if they just fight straight up, it looks a little closer. Daiteke did have double buffs though, so that's a lot of bonus damage there. Super top, gonna get the big axe to the face. But there's no ult for Ewok, so not in any kind of real danger. I'd imagine Super Top is saving
Hmm.
their ult for maybe an all-in, maybe trying to will Ewok down a little bit before going for something like that. Maybe looking for
Hmm.
jungle intervention as well.
Now the question is, Axeman, considering there are now 2 axes in this game now with Wokian and Ewok, what is your preferred axe, or who one might say?
So between the 3 axes in this game, I think I like Wokian's Olaf's left-hand axe, and I believe that's the one that calls down thunder from the sky and does true
Hmm.
damage. That's my favorite axe. I like the true damage, I like the burst, but yeah, Sion's axe is pretty cool too. I don't know what Sion's axe is named. I know Olaf's right-hand axe is named Undertow, and that's the one he throws. But I don't actually know the names of the other 2 axes, so I'll have to look that up. I feel like I'm failing our viewers as an axe man.
I mean, one might go ahead and expect more, but that's okay. Here, Axeman, you are just trying your damnedest as being the Axeman. As
Yeah,
you see,
trying pretty hard.
I believe it though. As we see Robo from the mid lane, immediately collapsed upon Ewok, so
Ooh,
taking a lot of trouble, and he's just dead.
yikes!
Even alts too. Just people trying to get something. It goes in on gone to clone, but
Oh,
Wokian goes and gets one kill
yikes!
back. Not gonna be able to get a second, and Big White Shark limits 13 ninjas. Daikin's in a little bit of trouble. Well, a couple more hours would have been able to do it, but he gets away.
Does get away there. That was quite the little death bush set up there by Wait for Late, and they do end up getting the kill down to 13 Green Ninjas, who is not having a great game so far. They tend to be getting deleted here, and I guess you got to kill the healer first, right? They taken might be on the run.
Yeah, they take actually still sets back, flash up, knock up, and then the
Ooh,
shutdown.
yeah.
Going in for daylight though, so that's not bad. Like Rakan gets a shutdown, but still, Datakin not looking that strong. And we're seeing right now this, like you mentioned, in X-Men, this is a much better game right here for Wait for Late.
It certainly is, and there are mobility abilities that are more used for like spacing and positioning. I would say Vane's Tumble is more about like repositioning. It's not necessarily about like maintaining space. It's about dodging things, and they definitely do not dodge that Recon W there. They absolutely eat that one, but I don't
Mhm.
think they were going to survive anyway. And now it's jump off Bush. They shoved off Wokian, and he's still trying to get an axe on it. I don't think it's going to happen though. So this is just going to be retailed for Wait for Late, and they're doing a lot better in the objectives department here as they have all the epic monsters that have spawned thus far. It's 25 seconds till this mountain dragon spawns though, and Wokian just got the reset, so maybe they'll pick up this mountain dragon.
Now with that too, because you are seeing that how mid lane as well, considering Ethan the guy is able to go ahead and push out the waves and actually roam up with jump off bush along with super top there along the side. Since he has a consistent push there as well, so they're able to go and prioritize top side. But if you go and look at the vision, there are a fair amount of pink wards actually centered around there, especially the enemy jungle for the side of SMU. So I wouldn't necessarily say that anybody has a direct advantage, but SMU is still trying to go ahead and keep themselves in the game.
For sure, they are not out of it yet. They're actually just a little bit over 1K gold behind, so I don't think that's really, that's certainly not the worst gold lead we've seen in this game thus far. It's Merlin with Wokian down here on the Mountain Dragon. They get caught out by the ward. Like you mentioned, there's a whole lot of vision really from both sides around this dragon.
Mhm.
Um, and somehow the dragon resets. Not sure how that happened, but they have pulled it all the way out now, and they are just rushing it down. Take a look at this damage. I don't think this one's, yeah, there's no contest for that one. Wokian actually looking for the fight.
They should be able to go ahead. That's just free drag for themselves. So one drag for one on both sides, but that's the ocean drag. It will the ocean soul for both teams. Now, if I'm looking at it, ocean soul looks good, really good on both sides. Like just in general, like but if I am looking really at the extended type team fights, if you go ahead and look at SMB's composition, right? If you go ahead and look at Ewok, like Merlin, like Datakin, going ahead and getting more extra regeneration, right? Just better tank stats, along with the viability to be able to extend out these team fights. That's what these people want to do.
Definitely. I know that's what I would want to do in this situation, but um, oh man, it's not great seeing Daitaken fall behind in CS like this. It's not crazy yet. I think it's like under 15, but we remember back in game one, Daitaken was considerably in the lead in terms of CS, and that's an advantage they've lost since then. Take a look at the gold here, just individually between the champions, and yeah, it's a little bit different here than it was in game one. Woking is still wildly ahead, but the rest of SMU is trailing behind in every role. Yeah, by several hundred gold in each position. So it's not a great place to be. I don't think you can solo carry your team with an Olaf. He's very strong and he's capable of and very good actually at getting advantages for your team, but I don't think he can hyper carry. Not at this stage yet. Oh, this is
Nice little duel coming out from both sides. Ragnarok popped on the Wokey and just
ooh.
jump off push, but there's unstoppable before smash with the Ragnarok and Sign as well gets the knockup. But it is a 2v2 right now as Merlin goes in, pops up two, slows down super top, and there's the kill as Ethan the guy goes ahead and backs away. So far a 2-for-1 in favor of SMU.
For sure, and a good little play to be sure there. Wokian wildly ahead in CS, but has been getting punished for invading the jungle, the enemy jungle thus far. I think he's died to Ethan the guy every single time he's tried to do it, and that is not working out great for him in his mid lane, right? Ethan's having a pretty good time there with LeBlanc, and that's... Oh, that actually goes down to Vigar with the auto.
As he goes, I mean, honestly, hey, how you doing so far? I like it.
Yeah, nothing too much. Ethan looking to blow up somebody. There's GLP though. It's gonna proc the passive, and Xinjiao maybe looking to go over the bush, but it hasn't happened yet. They dropped a Rift Herald mid lane at some point. I didn't see that come down, but that's not the best Herald, right? I mean, it's past 14 minutes, unfortunate for him, and it doesn't actually even get like half the turret, so it's not great.
Not at all though. But speaking of the overall turret state of the game right now, considering we are now 14 minutes into the game, neither side has been able to actually go ahead and actually take a single turret as of yet. Even the Rich Herald I'm seeing that was actually taken by jump off, which has expired as well. So no, nothing will be sieged as of yet. But with this now, I find SMU was able to go do so before, considering how much control they had in all these maps with Woki and the Trigger Ninjas are both there as well. They're gonna go into collapse on our daily, but Big White Shark stays hidden for a little bit, but jump off bush is there as well. So it's like this could This could go either way.
Yeah, it's going to devolve into a 4v3 as Ethan, the guy, arrives on scene, forcing Wokian off. And Ethan's coming at us with that completed Luden's Echo and the brown bags as well. Wokian has gotten the magical footwear procced as we're past 15 minutes. So he's a pretty fast Olaf at present time, but oh, okay.
Yeah, as Ethan guy just goes ahead, just lands the event horizon, but Blanc's able to go and dodge back and forth. But trading up at the top side, super top, actually coming on top of it, considering he went more so for the armor out, and Malphite does scale off of armor, so he's able to go ahead and take more of those traits. Plus the W, honestly, maxing W on Malphite underrated.
I'm not even sure what Malphite's W does, but I'll take your word for it. Teleport. This is Merlin. It's got the GLP.
Yeah, and there, just right at the edge, Big White Shark was caught. So that's another kill going into the pocket of Woki, and so well done by him as Ewok, along with Ethan Guy, are fighting up in the mid side, taking a lot of damage. Ethan, though, taking very, very low. Has going back off, re-engages as Ewok decides to go ahead, use Unstoppable Force. Sorry, use the ultimate, shielded up, flash out, and there's the final auto.
Oh!
As the trade kill happened mid side.
Yeah, that's pretty good there. That's all for all. Flash for flash, I think. Yeah, they trade all the summoner spells, but
Yeah.
we talked about this mid lane difference and the kill pressure that Ethan would have. He barely gets the kill onto Ewok with the ignite. Meanwhile, Merlin teleports bot and gets a kill onto Big White Shark, which I think might have been shutdown gold too. So who's winning here? I don't know, but Super Top takes outer top turret, getting that first turret gold just to add into the confusion. And who's ahead now? Anybody's guess, but it is Wait for Late, who are still at that even 1,000 gold in the lead. Oh, Super Top. Yikes. He's got a lot of armor.
Yeah, he's doing so. Pulse of Ragnarok able to try to go ahead and get out, but Unstoppable Force in, and just that final auto will pick him off.
Yeah, just enough damage there, but Ewok is on the scene. He's got a big old health bar. They're gonna catch him out on the ward here, but I don't know. Can he 2v1? I don't think so. He definitely can't 3v1, and Ethan has the priority, so this is gonna be another Rift Herald going down for jump off bush. Ewok misses the Q over the wall there, but yeah, Rift Herald goes down to Wait for Late. Merlin Ewok still looking for some kind of pick here, but it's still 3v2, so that's not, doesn't seem likely to me anyway. Who do they send?